after the game, it's the aftermath. Win or lose, we still wave our commander's flag. Riding with Went under center, making the pass. Jahan Dotson, young rookie, making a splash. That burgundy and gold, that's what we about. Jonathan Allen knocking QBs to the ground. We die hard and nobody can shut us down. Cause this is the greatest show in town. Let's go. Go, 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 go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Wire Sports Media. So, gotta take that off, God. Sorry. Welcome to another Cardiac Commanders podcast powered by Live Wire Sports Media. All right, so we got breaking news today, man. Yep. As expected, I didn't want to share this, but it was one of them things that I kind of expected to come. Is that Jayden Daniels, his injury update today. Adam Scheffler reported that Jayden Daniels has a sprained knee and has his status for Sunday game versus the Raiders in question. Per league sources, the injury is not believed to be serious, but it remains uncertain whether Daniels will be able to play in Sunday's matchup. Now, I kind of like suspected that the way his knee was twisted up. Now, some went around and say it was a PCL strain, but here's the doctor explaining it right here and everything.
We did it all the time. MRIs are given out like candy at Halloween. All right. I mean, you have no idea how often players get MRIs. We did it all the time. It's even more and more now. We saw the play where Jayden Daniels got hit on his right side, right leg, right knee. I don't think there's structural damage. Is he sore? Sure. Did he limp a little bit? Yeah. I mean, it's football. It's the collision sport of football. I think he's more hurt than injured. I would be very surprised if he misses time or doesn't play. Is he as agile as normal? Maybe he's a half step slower based on soreness and swelling in the knee, but I would not expect any structural damage.
All right. So with that being said, is that Jayden Daniels pretty much is. I expect him miss Sunday's game. To be honest with you, I expected him to miss Sunday's game because of that. Because the fact of the matter is that now that Jayden Daniels, Jayden Daniels is injured, and which just could have been prevented if the scheme and the plays on the field was a little bit better. He stayed in the pocket a little too long. The offensive line didn't pass protect it properly the way it's supposed to, but nevertheless, now we got to worry about Jayden Daniels being out, a game. Last year against Carolina, he got hurt. It was his ribs. He missed a few games here and there. Marcus Mariota came in, and Jayden Daniels finally came back, and we was able to, the rest is history, so to speak. But nevertheless, this is kind of messed up, man, because it's early in the season, and can this be lingering later on down the line? Yeah, it can be. But nevertheless, we got to change our game plan. And the sad thing about it is we don't have any deep threat wide receivers now, and so to speak, we have to worry about Jayden Daniels' health. Adam Scheffler reported on it. You got everybody's reporting on it right now, here and there. So, and then now we got roster updates right here, where the Commanders have made several roster moves, placing Austin Eckler and Dietrich Wise on the reserve injury list, making them out for the season. They also signed defensive end Jalen Holmes and wide receiver Chris Moore from the practice squad. And that's the guy that I was talking about that could possibly be a deep threat. Now, can he stretch the field? Yeah, he's big and tall. He caught that 119-yard bomb from Jalen Daniels in the season opener against the Giants, but you never seen anything else more from him. Can he develop into a deep threat? We have to see. And because right now the Commanders need answer of stretching the field, and especially with Jayden Daniels' injury situation, we don't want it to be a situation where teams going to rush us and whatever the case might be. Now, I don't know much about Jalen Holmes, but can he come in and provide much needed depth for that defensive end position with Dietrich Wise out? Hopefully he can. But I would have liked the Commanders went out and get Javion Clowney. That would have gave you much more of a veteran presence in there, and he's still able to put pressure on the run and pressure the quarterback. Also, the Commanders did sign Chase Edmonds from to the practice squad. So most likely, I don't know if they brought up Donovan Edwards, who was on the practice squad. So that's going to be something to look after along the way down the line. Um, me personally, I just hope that the Washington Commanders give if to me personally, if Jayden Daniels needs 2 weeks out, then give him 2 weeks. I just to me, I just feel like that's warranted. I think if they need to give Jayden Daniels at least 2 weeks to get healed if they can. If they do, then just go ahead and start Marcus Mariota. It's a long season. Don't mess around with what Jordan Ayers has said. You don't want to mess around with him. You don't want to make things uncanny for Jayden Daniels in the long run. It's a long season. You can still get out some games. Set him. I would set him again. I would set him against the Raiders, and I would set him against Atlanta. Two teams that this team could pretty much beat. I think that with the situation with Jayden Daniels, you want to make sure that this is really, really substantial for this team. You don't want to mess around with 5 at all. You do not want to mess around with Jayden Daniels. Also, to watch the Commanders site, head coach Dan Quinn also confirmed Austin Eckler and DJ Wise suffered season injuries, and I just tell you that they was placed on the reserve injury list. So, oh man, so let me see. Now they say that Jayden Daniels' MRI is a day-to-day situation. He has already started his return to play progress. So maybe he's going to shoot to play this weekend. Who knows? And also in other news, Terry McLaurin's birthday today. So happy birthday to Terry McLaurin. So hopefully I'm gonna listen to what Dan Quinn had to say real quick.
Perfect. Let's go, John Con.
Hey, Dan, with Jayden, obviously, he's going to want to go out there and play. So what are the things that you would want to look for to make sure that he would be ready to go or might not be ready to go?
Yeah, starts off first on like the strength part of things, the movements, and that's step one, John. Then on the field, the change of direction, the pivoting, the moving, all of those would be the things to go. So we'll just take it, as it goes, through the week, but he'd have to see all of the steps along this week to hit those marks, the speed, the stopping, the change of direction, all of it.
And then you guys didn't have to deal with this amount of injuries at one time last year. So what kind of a challenge does this pose for the team this week and going forward?
Yeah, I think teams go through it, John. It's just at different times, with injuries and such. And so having this 70-man roster, you've heard me say it's going to take everybody. It's even on the old days when it was just 53, that's not really how it goes. For those of us who've been around the league enough, you need a big, deep crew. And if players do have to miss, that's why we have this, group and how we play. So we'll just take it as it goes. But it's a little bit of a puzzle. You have to put it together, much like other teams do, and we'll be prepared for that with the contingency plans at certain spots if we need them.
Nikki?
Hi, Dan. Is it in fact a knee sprain that he's dealing with? And was he hurt on that tackle in the fourth quarter with about 5 minutes left where he came up hobbling?
He was hurt on a tackle. He was actually looking back on Micah and scrambled away and got hit from kind of the opposite direction, I would say. But he is dealing with a knee injury. Like I said, it was good that he finished the game. And now as we get through it, we'll just kind of go through the whole process with him. And we're not going to miss it either, Nikki. With Jayden, we know how important he is. And so we're just going to kind of take it. That's why I truly say it's day by day to make sure that he can absolutely be himself.
I agree with that.
Expectations for Noah Brown and John Bates this week.
Yeah, I think it's a long shot, but we'll have to find out when we get through Wednesday and where we're at. Both of them had soft tissue injuries, and we'll just see what it looks like as we get through Wednesday. But we're still assessing him and John and Jayden as well. So those are the four that it's too early to call it for me. And so once we'll get together Wednesday and have a better discussion for that.
Tom?
Hi, Dan.
Hey, Tom.
Not to stay on the Jayden track here,
Sure.
but do you feel like you have to treat him any differently given his importance to this franchise? Are you treating his return to play differently than say a Noah Brown or John Bates?
It gets more attention, Tom, for sure. And we recognize like what Jayden is and the impact that he has here. But I'd be BSing if I said, like we wouldn't care about those guys in the same way. So I think it's not less on for them. We just want to make sure we're going to try to push the guys to the right spots. All these guys are like legit competitors, Tom. So there's some of us protecting them from themselves as well. But we're going to do our best to make sure we got a pretty robust return to play program, and they have to hit all the markers even to be considered to go. So we're just not going to miss any steps along the way, man.
And obviously Marcus has a lot of experience. Can you kind of talk about your confidence in him, and maybe when you would want to make kind of a decision on who's going to get the ball on Sunday?
Yeah, we'll take it all the way to Friday and then, have a real good idea of where we're at. If called upon, this is an elite competitor, teammate, player. And so we'll just take it as we go through that one. But our confidence in him is through the roof based on who he is, the teammate, what he's shown to us here, Tom. But I'll have a better sense for that as I go through the week and can give you better insights on that when we get together on Friday.
David Aldridge?
Hey, Dan, on Marcus also, you guys kept him down through most of camp in the preseason. When did he hit the markers that you needed to see him hit to make sure that he was ready to go?
It was after Baltimore. It was close to Baltimore, DA. It was like, okay, could we get some reps into that one? I felt like in the pregame, that was okay, there it is. That looks like you all the way through. But that was the week we weren't sure. Would he be able to get some during that Baltimore week? The week after, he was at the full. And then from then on, I felt good. But it was really into that week that I was, okay, there's the speed, there's the explosion. And it took a while, but he has fully made it all the way back. Those are frustrating to go through as the player, but I can remember having the conversation. I said, hey, man, that's it today. And that's why we waited, so it would look like that. And I think that was the week through that Baltimore and then into the next week, which I'm kind of, I don't know what the right word is, like the end of the season, preseason bye week. But that week I felt like he was back to himself.
A game question. What did
Sure.
you see specifically with the O-line production and performance at Green Bay, and where the deficiencies were?
Yeah, I really felt like it was almost like a repeat from Detroit. They got out ahead, and I didn't like how we started, really on either side of the ball, David, to say, you have to go back and look. It was either 2 punts or 3 punts, on our first 2 or 3 possessions. They drove down some. So I didn't love the way that we started. As bad as it felt, as we got into the start of the fourth quarter, you're down a touchdown. Okay, we stayed in the fight. As bad as it felt, we didn't hit on a field goal at the end of half. We missed on a good return coming out of the half. So I thought our complimentary football back and forth wasn't right. And then when it got to the 2 scores, then you're back throwing it all, to try to catch up again. So I thought, all right, can we stay in this fight? Here's our time to go take our shot. They went down to score, and that's where I thought the game changed, man, where we had 1 shot to go fight for it. Didn't love our balance, honestly, to go.
All right, so with everything Dan Quinn is saying right now with the Washington Commanders, he wants to make sure that Jayden is pretty much in a good spot. He want to make sure Jayden Daniels is able to do all the things that he is prepared to do this week. Now, is that to say Jayden Daniels might not play? No, but that is to say that Dan Quinn want to make sure he protect Jayden Daniels from himself. Even if Jayden Daniels say he's fine and he wants to play, there's a possible chance that Jayden Daniels might not play this Sunday against the Raiders. And me personally, I will let Marcus Mariota do the job. I will go ahead and start scheming up everything for Marcus to be starter and all Chris Rodriguez, all of these guys to get potential play in the game, because the fact of the matter is the Washington Commanders definitely need these guys right now. And they need all hands on deck until Jayden Daniels seem healthy. Maybe Jayden Daniels be ready against Atlanta, but if not, we could roll with Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota played with the Raiders. He played against with Atlanta, so therefore he knows both of these teams. So therefore, we're not going to lose anything. We just got to go out and win these games and let Jayden get the proper rest and get him healed. Now, he could play with a brace, but you don't want to limit his mobility. You want him to be 100%. So let me know what your thoughts on this situation with Jayden Daniels and all the roster moves and what Dan Quinn had to say. Until the next episode, till the next podcast, this is Cardiac Commanders, and I'm out.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire. It's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it. So official, like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delay.